And welcome back, the Old Gab Box Podcast. It's time for the Big Red Elephant Scouting Report. Third Saturday in October, it's Alabama against Tennessee. This is good stuff. Never disappointed. Been following this series for many, many years and looking forward to it again. 2:30 Central Time kickoff, Neyland Stadium. It's going to be rocking. I put in the video, or actually called it up on YouTube and watched the game from 2022. That broke the 15-year losing streak to Tennessee. It was a remarkable game. Tennessee jumps out to that early lead. Hendon Hooker was on fire, ultimately threw 5 touchdown passes. Adjustments were made defensively for Alabama, which they always did under the Saban reign of terror, if you will. And in the end, Bryce Young threw for 455 yards in that game and 4 touchdowns. Brought Alabama back in position to win it in the end. Will Reichert, arguably the greatest kicker in Alabama football history, misses the field goal. Hendon Hooker then threw that inexplicable pass with 2 defenders on his receiver. They catch it, sets up the winning field goal, 52-49. Goalposts come down, deposited in the river. It was a wild, wild scene. And then last year in Tuscaloosa, Josh Heupel's team led at halftime. It was an uh-oh moment, but back came Alabama, 27 unanswered. Shut them out in the second half. Again, adjustments were made defensively, and Alabama kept their playoff hopes alive with that big win a year ago in Tuscaloosa. And I think the same scenario on Saturday for both teams. Loser is out, I believe, of the 12-team playoff picture. The winner stays alive, and that's why I think it adds even more drama to what should be a lot of fun on Saturday. Again, Alabama, a 2.5-point favorite. That should come down, is coming down by kickoff. Could be 1.5. Alabama a favorite. And according to the computer models that I follow in Vegas, and right now, both are right at 64 and 65%. Alabama a winner straight up against Tennessee. And ultimately, I think this is a pick-em affair. If it's down to 1.5 come Saturday, who do you like? Tennessee at home. Again, you got to give the home team in a big game like this 3 points on their side for being at home. But I think in the end, and we'll talk about it, but I think in the end, I think Alabama is going to continue marching forward. But let me explain why. Again, Tennessee last 2 weeks lost to Arkansas, overtime win last week against Florida. The Tennessee offense has been shut out in the first half of both of those games. And Nico Iamaleava, the quarterback, big kid, 6'6", started the season strong against overmatched opponents, but in SEC play has not been the same quarterback. Windows are shrinking. His decision-making has not been good. I thought this was interesting. A Tennessee offense that wants to run the football and certainly looks capable, but passing has been an issue. The last 2 games in passes over 20 yards, Nico is 2 for 10. His completion percentage is down. Again, when you watch him, it's a slow process, and it's just been at times a very frustrating situation for Tennessee. We'll see what happens. A lot of people are saying, well, it's the perfect time for him to bounce back, that he's certainly capable against an Alabama defense that has shown they are incapable of getting off the field right now. Last in the Southeastern Conference with the amount of plays they've been on the field, Alabama. These kids are just absolutely worn out, especially come the second half. We saw that against Vanderbilt, who completed 68% on third down conversions. Last week, South Carolina was just over 50% on third down conversions. The Alabama defense just not getting off the field, and by the third and fourth quarters, these kids are tired, they're fatigued, and we've seen that each of the last 2 weeks. It is not a personnel issue. If you break down the Alabama defense, they have really good players, highly sought after players. I really believe, and I was hesitant 2 weeks ago after the Vanderbilt game to call it a schematic problem, but I do believe now that changes must be made. Blitz packages need to come into play. Maybe some zone. Something has to change on the defensive side of the football for this Alabama defense to at least throw a curveball at future opponents. So we shall see. Now, again, offensively, Alabama is still in good stead. The one issue that I have in watching Alabama now, starting with the Georgia game and especially last week against South Carolina, Kalen DeBoer calls a lot of running plays for Milroe, quarterback, and he's getting hammered. He's taking a lot of hits. Big kid, 6'3", about 230, 235. He's physical, doesn't mind the contact. He's fast, he's elusive, but he's taking these side shots, and I just don't want to see him get hurt. We'll see how that plays out as the season unfolds. But I do believe Alabama, again, has explosive capabilities, big play options all over the field. And if they could just cut down on the penalties, I think Alabama is going to win this game against Tennessee thanks to big play capabilities. I don't think they're going to run clock. I don't think they're going to dominate the ball by running, even though I think they certainly are capable. But I think in the end, Jalen reestablishes himself as one of the favorites for the Heisman Trophy. I think he has big play receivers who are going to catch it and break tackles and run for long gains. And I think Tennessee, slow starters each of the last 2 weeks. Why would that change now? I think they will have some success against an Alabama defense that, again, just isn't getting off the field. But I think Alabama's big play capabilities will get them an early lead, and I think they will hang on to beat Tennessee and cover that spread and reestablish a winning streak after the 15-game winning streak and then the loss in 2022. I do believe on Saturday, third Saturday in October, Alabama will win again and keep their playoff hopes alive, and Coach DeBoer will have an opportunity, like all the other great coaches in Alabama football history, to smoke a cigar after the game. And even if he doesn't smoke cigars, he needs to take a picture with a stogie in the locker room after the game. And we've all seen those pictures, right? Whether it's Coach Bryant or Coach Stallings or Coach Saban and all the great players holding up those cigars. I hope Coach DeBoer enjoys that moment on Saturday. And again, a mild-mannered guy. People asked me the other day, who does he remind you of? And I said, after seeing Mike Shula last Saturday for the first time in forever, he reminds me a lot of Mike Shula personality-wise. He's just kind of a calm, low-key guy, and Alabama fans need to get used to that. But I do believe if Alabama can pull off the win on Saturday, I think he's going to realize what this means to beat Tennessee on the third Saturday in October, and what it will mean for Alabama now the rest of the way, with Missouri coming to town, with LSU coming to town, Auburn at the end of the year. This is such a pivotal game on Saturday to keep those playoff hopes alive, and I think they will. I think they cover, and I think all those folks wearing orange in Knoxville will go home disappointed, unlike 2022.